Good luck.
Good luck. Did you get caught in the rain today?
No. What time was it raining?
About 11:15. Intermittently, I ran between the drops.
Oh, no, I was in shul.
What time did you finish?
We finished late. We had a bar mitzvah, Rabbi Block.
Oh, okay.
So we
his
finished
kid.
about 11:40, 11:45.
Oh, that's why you missed it. I came home.
Yeah.
I came out 11:15 on the way home. So I stayed under the tree. It wasn't bad. It didn't come too bad.
Well, where'd you daven today? Where'd you daven?
Every day. I Shabbos I daven by Beis Yehuda.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then during the week I daven.
How's the minyan there? How's the minyan there?
It's okay. It's okay. I mean, nothing.
Who sits at the Mizrach? Who sits at the Mizrach Vant?
The only one that sits there is David Berger. He sits in his father's seat.
David Berger, interesting.
Yeah,
I remember the whole lineup there. All the
Hungarians,
the nursing home people. Yeah, Cass.
All the guys.
Yeah,
Friedman, Menlo, Kassira.
exactly.
All those guys.
They all asked.
They are. And I remember, he has a spice place. So, I forgot. So he was probably good. Yeah, Schlissel. They all invited me up there. I never went up there. I sat in the back. I always sat in the back. But
now you can go. Now you can go.
Yeah,
now you can go.
Yeah, they invite me.
Now's your time.
Yeah. No, I didn't want to be considered one of the old Hungarians from the European.
You're not old enough yet.
Yeah, not yet. Besides, I'm not a
Hungarian.
No, they all came from the old country.
Yeah.
I came from the old country too, but the old country to me was Seattle. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Rabbi Tauber said today that Esav had his chusa being kibbutz. And what was his kibbutz? When he came back from the hunting, he was he put his Shabbos clothes on to feed his father. That's why he gave his father so much cover. So my grandfather came from Europe in 1906, came to Seattle, and he had the church Givachas. He was a church Rebbe. He used to correspond with him. So when the Rebbe would come, when he would write to the Rebbe, he would get a letter sometimes back from him. He was very honored. He would when he come home from work, he would change out the Shabbos clothes to open up the letter. He wouldn't read it without putting his Shabbos clothes on. Oh
my God!
Yeah, that was it. So I was so honored to be. The Rebbe wrote him a letter. He came home, changed his clothes in the Shabbos, and read the letter. Yeah, isn't that something? And in fact, one of the Hasidim told the Rebbe when Moshe Yudikanauer left, he says he's not going to be religious anymore. So he said, no, the Rebbe says he's going to be religious because he wore with a shluffkappel, every night.
He did, really?
Yeah, my grandfather wore, so the yarmulke wouldn't fall off. He'd wear his yarmulke. They put it on. They tie it with a bow. So that's every night he slept with a schluffkappel. So he says he's not good. He's going to
a long time.
Yeah, schluffkappel.
Yeah.
A schluffkappel. Yeah.
It's a big business. That's a big business.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think I'm going to go into it too. That's one thing that didn't take off here, right? The kapatas and the strimos all took off, but the schluffkappel never took off. Anybody that went into that business would yeah. Okay.
We're on Tet Zion 16 on Aleph. That the Mishnah is cooler of Tarfuni. But Reisha is the b'chotzer that is owned by two partners. Hamicheres leperos le'echad me'em. Only one of them is allowed to bring fruit there. But lezel lezeh shvorim. Both can bring ox. Delagabe shein havela chotzranizik. Regarding the damage of shein when an animal eats fruit, it's considered like the Nizik's chotzer, because it's really only one of them that's allowed to bring fruit there. So the mazik is chayiv completely in shame. But legabi karen avi rishus arabim, since they both have rishus to be there, it's like rishus arabim, and karen b'shus arabim, even according to Rav Tarfon, pays like a tam, which is only chatzi nesek. Rav Kanam recently shmaitza kamei Rav Zvid Ardor. The Omar Lini said to me, "Mimatzis mukmisla kulok Rav Tarfon. Could you set up the Mishnah like you want, all according to Rav Tarfon? Aktani Hashem muedis lechol saroyla. Shane is muad from the get-go when the animal is eating things that it normally eats. Roy lo in. Ain roy lo lo. But if an animal eats something that's not normally that he eats, he doesn't pay nezek shalom. He pays chatzi nezek a good time. And if indeed you're going to say that the whole Mishnah is Rav Tarfon, ha'omar mishuna karen b'chatzra nizik shenezek shalom mishal. Rav Tarfon says that karen if an ox gores another item or another animal in the rishus of the nizik, he pays nezek shalom. And not chatzi nezek. So Ella, we have to change the way we're explaining. Lo'olam rabbanani. It's not Rav Tarfon, it's Rabbanon. Chamisha tamimei. 5 examples of tam. Vimhu adu. If they did it 3 times, chameshtan muadu. That's like we said, negicha, negifa. That if they did it the first time or the first 2 times, they only pay chatzi nezek. Shein v'regel muadin b'tchilosa. When an animal eats or kicks something, you don't have to go through a tam muad process. They're muad right away. Heichana dosam. Where is that b'chatzra nizik? That's when they does damage in their neighbor's rishus. Mask Ravina. Aktala come on, shora mazik rishus nizik ketzad. What's an example when a mazik does damage in a nizik's property? And there we were talking about an example of karen. Iyamit bishma iri ba ishumachik tani ketzad. You have to explain what in a short way what we're talking about. Eli iyamret shelo iri ba. We're not talking about karen. My ketzad. It was never even discussed. Elam ravina chsurim echsav achik tani. Chamisha tamim heim. 5 examples of tam. V'muadu chameshtan muad. If they repeat it 3 times, they become a muad. Shein v'regel muadin mitchilasa. Eating and kicking is muad right away. V'zeu shor muad, that's the shor muad according to everybody. But shor mazik v'shus nizik, that's machlokes Rav Tarfon Rabbanan, whether it's considered a muad or not. And yesh muad nacherim kiyotz be'elu. There are other animals that are muad right away. Like, and who are they? Haze'ev, ha'ari, the wolf, the lion, the dove, the bear, the bardalis, v'nomer, v'nochash. Which we said was machlokes Rav Lezer Chacham. Taina mohachi. There's a brayso that goes according to Ravina. Chamisha tamim heim v'muad chameshta muadim. V'shein v'regel muadim b'tchilos. V'shein regel are muad right away. And that's what we're talking about, zer shor muad. Shor mazik v'shus anizik, when a shor damages in a private property, is machlokes Rav Tarfon Rabbanan, whether you pay chatzi nezek or nezek shalom. V'yesh muadim acherem kiyotzu be'elu. There's some animals that are muad right away. Ze'ev, hari, adov, v'nomer, v'bardas, v'noch. Some use this structure as a kasha, where it says like this: Tana, chamisha tamim v'chamish muad. The suleka, are those the only animals that are muad by ikka? Ze'ev, ari, v'adov, v'nomer, v'bardas, v'nochash. Umishani, we can explain. Amravina chasrei mechzav achitani. There were some words missing. Chamisha tamim he, v'muadu chameshtan muadim, and those 5. Like Negifa and Negicha, They start off tam. If they do it 3 times, they become muad. Number 2, shein v'regel muadim mitchilas. Shein v'regel are muad right away. V'zeu shor muad. Shor mazik b'shus nizik is machlokas Rav Taf Rabbanim whether you pay chatzi nezek or nezek shor. Yesh muadim acherim ki yotzu be'elu. And there are other animals that are muad like them, and that's where it says ze'ev ari dov anomer v'abar l'svana. Then v'lo lirbots. When an animal jumps on kalim, that's also an unusual type of damage, and that would fall under Karen rather than regular. That's big kalim. An animal's not going to jump on them. But regular small kalim, that wouldn't be considered Karen. That would be considered normal, and it would fall under regular. Lema Messiah. A behema muedes lalech kedarka. A behema is mued to walk in a normal way. V'lishbor l'mayachas ha'adam es a behema v'sakelim. And to break or decrease in size a person, an animal, or kelim. Now, it seems like this is even referring to small kelim. So the Gemara says, maybe not. Dilma minatzad. We're not talking about direct damage, but it does damage on the side of its leg when it walks. Ikidi Amri, others say no. Don't say it's only large kelim, where we say there's a tam and a muad process to lav urcha, because it's not the normal behavior of an animal to walk on those things. But pachim ktanim urchu, we will say it is normal. Elafilu pachim ktanim nami lav urchu. It's not normal for an animal to walk even on small kelim. Meisvei. Which implies that it is the derech for them to walk on kelim. On Rabbi Lazar, dilma minatzad. It's not direct walking on, but it's damage to the side of the animal. Now, there's a third way of learning this sugya. Ikid de Rabbi Le Mirma, that they bring it as a kasha. Tnan, that the behemoth is not muad lirbots. V'atani l'maychas adam as a behemoth kelim. So it seems like it does. It is its nature. Kasha. Kan b'pachim doilim. That's not a normal behavior of the animal to step on them. Kan b'pachim tanim, that it is the nature of the animal. Then it says ze'ev v'ha'ari. Now the Gemara doesn't know my bardalus. What is a bardalus? Rav Yehuda and nifraza. And my nifraza, Rav Yosef Apo. What is this, like a mink?
A polecat or a weasel for the weasel family.
A weasel.
Yeah.
I thought it was a mink. Okay.
It's also from the same family.
Meisvei. Rab Meir Oimer Afat Savua. Savua is a weasel. Rab Lazar Oimer Afat Nachash. And a snake. Varm Rav Yosef Savua Ze'apo. How can you say that it's a weasel? Loikasha kan b'tzavua zachar, kan b'tzavua nekev. A male weasel versus a female weasel. How do you know that a male weasel is its own thing? The Tanya. Tzavua zachar la'achar shavashanim nase atalei. It says that a male weasel after 7 years becomes a bat. Atalef lachar shavashnim aseh arpad. A bat after 7 years becomes an arpad. I don't think we know what that is.
a species of bat.
Arpad lachar shavashrim nasa kimush. After 7 years, becomes some kind of grass. Kimush lachar shavashrim nasa chuch, becomes like a thorn. Chuch lachar shavashrim nasa shade. Then it becomes a demon. V'shidro shel adam lachar shavashrim nasa nochash. Spinal column of a human being that dies, it turns into a snake. Hanimili shelo kora b'moedim. That's a human being that didn't bend over to bow to Hashem during moedim. Then his spinal column becomes a snake. Okay. Amar ma. Rav Meir Omer Afat Savua, that even a weasel is muad right away. Rav Lozer Omer Afat Nocha, even a snake too. I vanat nan Rav Lozer Omer Bizman Shein B'nei Tarbus Ein Muadim, V'anocha Shmuad Lo'elam. All of these animals, if they're domesticated and they live among people, they're not muad, but a snake is always muad. So Tani Nachash, it's not Afa Nachash, it means Nachash is the only one. Amar Shmuel, Ari that is owned privately, a domesticated lion that did damage B'shus Harabim, Im Doras V'Ochal, it sort of wounded its prey, and then it ate it, potter. Means that it didn't kill it, it just wounded it, it was still alive. That's the normal way a lion eats. And Shane, which describes the normal way that an animal is going to eat, is potter, which is a rabbim. However, in Torah, if it killed the animal, then ochal chayiv. That would be unusual. So that falls under Karen. And sure, b'shus harabim is chayiv Karen. If it's tam, you pay chatzi nezik. If it's a muad, you pay nezik shol. So doras v'achal potter kiven dorach lemidas. A lion normally will not kill its prey, but just wound it and then eat it. It's like a cow that ate fruit and vegetables. The havale shein b'shus harabim, which you would pay shein b'shus harabim upotter. If your animal eats in your neighbor's field, so of course you'd be chayav nezek sholim. But shein b'shus harabim is potter. Now, if the lion Torah, if the lion killed and then ate, lav urchuhu. So that's not the normal way. So that's Karen. And Karen b'shus harabim b'chai. Is it not common for animals to kill and then eat? V'haksiv. It says in Nachum, Aryeh Torah b'dei gerusav. A lion will kill to feed its young. Yeah, bishvil gerusav it'll kill, but to eat itself it won't. Umachanek lil v'usav. Like it chokes for its cubs. So in a kadami bishvil v'usav. Then it kills, but not for itself. Vayamalei teref choyrav. That implies that he brings for himself something that he killed. Bishvil choro. It's for his pride. It's for his cubs. But it says umavenois of treifa, which implies that he's bringing it for himself. Example, bishvil ma'onosov, which is for his cubs. Vatanya v'chein chaya shenichnas l'chotzra nizik. an animal, a wild animal, goes into a neighbor's field. Tarfa be'ema v'achla basar. If it killed the animal and ate, meshayim nezek shalim, which implies that killing and eating is the normal derech. Not like we're saying that it's keren. Ma'eskinon shetarfa laniach. That's where it killed, and then it put it up in a tree to save it for later. That's the derech of a wild animal. But if it kills and eats right away, that would not be the norm. The Gemara says, how can you say that it put away? Ha'achlak didn't say that it put away. So b'shenim l'cha v'achla means we saw it change its mind. It first wanted to kill it just to put it away and store it, and later on it decided to eat. Now, no yadina, how are we going to know that this wild animal killing with the intent to store it, to be able to decide this din of whether it's paskin like shane or carrot? The ode, another kasha, Shmuel Nami, Dil Mahachihu. When Shmuel said that we treat it as carrot, why? Maybe when the animal killed over there in the Rishus HaRabbi, but also killed to store it. How are we going to know what's in the mind of the animal? The Bryce is not to be viewed as one case. It's divided into two parts. And this I have to learn. If the animal killed and its intent we could see was to store it, or it wounded and ate, that's the normal way of it's eating, and if it's Rishus HaRabim, you pay nezek shol. Ravina explains differently. Kikamar Shmuel, that when a lion kills, it's not its derech. Hare bari tarbus. That's a domesticated lion that works for Barnum and Bailey. Not a wild animal. But a wild animal will also kill and eat. That's its derech. Valibid Rabbi Lozer. Shomer lav urchu. Rabbi Lozer will say that a domesticated lion will not kill and eat. Ihachi. So if we're talking about a domesticated lion, afilim darsanami l'chayiv. So even if it wounded and ate in Rishus HaRabim, it's not its derech, and then you shouldn't have shane either. Ela Ravina lav the Shmuel itmar. Ela masnis. Ravina's not going on Shmuel's din; he's going on the Baraisa. Kitani masnisa. When the Baraisa said that a wild animal went into the neighbor's field, and you pay nezek shalem, it's not because it's the normal derech for it to kill. That's talking about an ari tarbut. It's a domesticated lion. Where it's not the norm. You still pay nezek shalem in your neighbor's field. If that's not its derech, then chatzi nezek boy l'shlumi. You should pay care and not shame. So the EI, we're talking about an animal that's already done this 2 times before. So it's a mu'in. Yachi mayhag diktani law got be told to the shame. Then why was this taught by Bryce of shame? It should be taught by Gabi told the Karen if it's not the normal derech. Gemara ends up kasha. That indeed is a problem. Mishnah. Ma bein tam lemu'in. What's the difference between a tam and a mu'in? Shatam mishlam chatzi nezek migufo. You have a limit of its payment. You never pay more than the goof of the shore itself. Mu'ud mishlam nezek shalom and aliyah. But if it's mu'ud, it pays the full damages even from its personal asset. My aliyah, Amr Abelazar, b'ma'ula shebenechasav, even from the best of his, from the idis. V'chenu Omer vayishkav Chizkiyahu mavoisav. Chizkiyahu Melech died, was buried with his forefathers. Vayikberu b'mala kivrei b'nei David. What does that mean? Among the best of the family. And then when they buried Asa Melech, they buried him in the graves that were dug in Ir David. They buried him Besamim Vizanim. What is this? My Besamim Vizanim, Zini Zini. Different spices, perfumes. That if they smelled it, it led to, it was like an aphrodisiac. So we're going to bring other psukim from Yirmiyah Navi. Hashem wanted to punish the people who were chasing Yirmiyah Navi. What is this? From Lazar Omer, Shechashdu Mizona. They suspected him of znus. They suspect him of being adultery. Because the word shocha appears by zona. What does shocha have to do with Eishes Ish? Well, if you sleep with the Eishes Ish, she also becomes a zona. It's nus. So Bishlam under Shchashdu Eishes Ish. They're trying to kill me. I understand. They tried to accuse him of an adultery. That's capital punishment where you get killed. They would just claim that he was sleeping with a zona. My lamus. There's no capital punishment to sleep with a zona. So, shishlichu lebe'er tit. They threw him in a pit of mud. Torah might receive Yumul Shalom Fanecha be'esa pecha sabahem. Arma Yirmiyah Fnekadosh Baruch Ribono Shalom. Afilu b'shah shoysim tzedakah yichshilam b'nei adam she'enim uganim. Make them fall. People who are not kosher people. They're tricksters, and they don't need tzedakah. Kidei shelo yikabel lehem schar, so they won't receive the schar of the tzedakah that they did. That they didn't do any kind of mitzvah here. Then, when they buried Chizkiah Melech, it said, they showed him respect. Malamed Yeshiva Yeshiva al Kivra. They built the yeshiva where he was buried, so that the learning of Torah would go for his covet. Pliga Rav Nassim Rabbana. Chadamar Shloisha Yamim, Chadamar Shiva. Some says for 3 days, some says for 7 days. Okay. We'll finish here, and we'll start the Navi Shir in 2 minutes.
Tomorrow when?
Tomorrow, 7:30.
Okay.
7:30.
Regular time. 7:30.
Okay.
7:30.
Okay, shkoyach.